You know, we're surrounded by buildings every single day, but how often do we really see them? It's so easy to just walk right past, totally unaware of the incredible stories they're telling. So today, we're going to learn how to decode that secret language of architecture, to read the stories written in stone and steel. You know that feeling, right? You're standing in front of some grand old cathedral or a government building, and you can just tell it's important, but you don't really know why. It feels like this huge mystery, a story locked away in stone and glass that you just don't have the key for. Well, consider this your official detective training. We're going to build a kind of field guide, a toolkit packed with clues to help you spot the major architectural styles of the Western world. I promise, by the end of this, you'll be able to walk down any street and see it in a completely new light. Okay, every good investigation starts at the beginning, and for us, that means ancient Greece and Rome. This is the classical style, and it's basically the blueprint, the DNA, that so much of Western architecture would copy, react to, and reinvent for the next 2,000 years. So, what's the number one clue for spotting a classical building? It is all about the columns. And these aren't just there to hold up the roof, they define the entire style. You've got the simple, sturdy Doric, the more elegant Ionic with its cool scroll-like tops, and then the super fancy Corinthian, all covered in leaps. If you see these, you are 100% looking at classical DNA. And beyond the columns, look for that perfect, almost obsessive symmetry. You could fold the building in half and it would match up perfectly. See those big triangular shapes under the roof? Those are called pediments. And the whole thing is built on a simple post and lintel system, basically just two vertical posts holding up a horizontal beam. The overall vibe is super calm, logical, mathematical even. Think of the Parthenon in Athens. All right, let's jump forward to the Middle Ages, where a massive leap in technology changes absolutely everything. We're leaving the simple post and lintel world behind and entering the age of the arch. And this one innovation splits into two incredibly powerful and distinct styles, Romanesque and Gothic. This slide just nails the evolution. On the left, you've got the Romanesque rounded arch. It's strong, for sure, but it's heavy, and it pushes the building's weight outwards, which means you need these crazy thick walls to hold it all up. But then, on the right, the Gothic pointed arch. This was a total game changer. It cleverly directs all that weight straight down, much more efficiently, which lets buildings just soar to unbelievable heights and feel way, way lighter. So for our Romanesque detective kit, your main clue is that rounded arch. And because those arches are so heavy, you'll always find these thick, imposing walls with only tiny little windows punched through them. The whole building feels grounded, solid, kind of like a fortress, honestly. The Pisa Cathedral in Italy is a perfect example, just sturdy and powerful. Now, let's look at the Gothic kit. The main clue here is that elegant pointed arch. That one innovation let architects go wild. They could build higher and higher, supported by those cool external braces you see called flying buttresses. And suddenly, the walls didn't need to be so thick anymore, which meant they could be filled with these enormous, brilliant stained glass windows, just flooding the inside with what they saw as divine light. The whole vibe is verticality, soaring upwards, reaching for the heavens, just like Notre Dame in Paris. Okay, so after the Middle Ages, architects started looking backwards for inspiration, which led to this incredible rebirth of old ideas. But it wasn't just about copying the past. Oh no, it was about reviving it and then reacting to it with a whole lot of drama. This timeline shows how history really echoes. You've got the original idea from Greece and Rome. Then, boom, centuries later, the Renaissance rediscovers it. Then, a few centuries after that, neoclassicism brings it back again, but with a new spin. It's a really important thing to remember. Architectural history isn't just a straight line. It loves to circle back on itself. The Renaissance, which kicked off in Italy, was a full-on revival of those classical principles. So you see the return of columns, that perfect symmetry, and hey, look, the rounded arches are back. But this time they're used to create this feeling of calm, balanced, human-centered elegance. The amazing dome of the Florence Cathedral perfectly captures this vibe. And then came the reaction. If the Renaissance was calm and rational, Baroque was all about pure emotion and drama. Architects started using curved facades, over-the-top ornamentation, and these really dramatic contrasts between light and shadow to create a sense of movement and grandeur. This was architecture designed to make your jaw drop, to overwhelm you with awe, just like the Palace of Versailles. This whole idea of action and reaction plays out perfectly in the 18th century. First, you get Rococo, which kind of took the drama of Baroque and turned it inward. It's lighter, more playful, and it focuses on creating these unbelievably lavish and ornate interiors. But as a reaction to that, you get Neoclassicism. This style came out of the Age of Enlightenment, so it valued reason and order. The focus shifted back to these sober, rational, and monumental exteriors, with clean lines and a sense of authority, just like the United States Capitol building. Okay, I know, that was a whirlwind tour through a couple thousand years of history. So, how do you keep it all straight when you're out in the real world? Don't worry, we've put all of our findings together into the ultimate cheat sheet for your new detective's toolkit. And here it is, the key to unlocking it all. Just focus on two things, the main clue and the vibe. See those grand, orderly columns? That's classical. Heavy, rounded arch? You're looking at Romanesque. A soaring, pointed arch that makes you look up? Gothic. Is it overflowing with drama and curves? That's Baroque. If you can remember these simple pairings, you'll be able to identify pretty much any major historical building you come across. So there you have it. You're not just looking at buildings anymore, you're reading them. You officially have the keys to unlock centuries of history, technology, and art that are hiding in plain sight all around you. So the only question left is, on your next walk, what stories are you going to discover?